To Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. The final game of the series, the final game of the homestand for the Blue Jays as they take on the Boston Red Sox yet again. Brian Bayo brings in an ERA of 9 into this game. Eric Lauer had that one rough one when he was under the weather, gave up 7 runs, so he's bringing in an ERA of 6.75. Chad Tracy, the interim manager for the Red Sox, his 4th game since taking over for Alex Cora. He is 2-1 so far. Boston at 12-18 on the season. Wilson Contreras has good numbers against Lauer, has good numbers against Blue Jay pitching in general. Keep an eye on Trevor Story as well today, another guy who has swung the bat well against Eric Lauer. This will be Lauer's 6th appearance, Joe, and 5th start of the season.
He started his last game, and that was when he was having some of those neck issues in LA against the Angels. He went 5 innings, allowed 3 runs on 7 hits, did not factor in the decision in that loss. It was the game before that in Arizona that the Blue Jays used an opener. Before him, he went 5 innings coming out of the bullpen, allowed 3 runs in that one. But this is an opportunity, I think, for Eric Lauer. It's been a rough go for him earlier this season with his illness and not feeling well and all that. But after using an opener, I'm sure he took that to heart. And this is an opportunity for him to make a statement, I think. And if he wants to be a starting pitcher, he can have a good one today, and that may go a long way. Behind Lauer this afternoon, Miles Straw gets the start in left field, Varsho in center, Sanchez in right. That's the 3rd different outfield combo we've seen this series. Okamoto and Jimenez on the left side, Ernie Clement and Guerrero on the right side, and Brandon Valenzuela gets his first start of this series. He'll catch Lauer this afternoon.
The Red Sox shutting out the Blue Jays Monday night. The Blue Jays shutting out the Red Sox last night. The Blue Jays are off to Minneapolis after the game tonight. 4 with the Twins and then 3 with the Rays on the road trip. You're looking at Roman Anthony, who's going to lead it off for the Red Sox. One of just 2 left-handed bats in there. Anthony hitting leadoff, Abreu hitting 3rd. Anthony 1 for 8 in the series, hitting .209 on the season. And this ball game is underway with a pitch that is just high for ball 1. And had it been later in the game, maybe Brandon Valenzuela challenges that pitch, but boy, you've got to be 200% sure to do it on the first pitch of a ball game. This is fouled back, and it's 1-1. One of the things we noticed early a couple of times with Lauer under the weather or whatever was going on with his neck last time was the velocity was down, and he's not a big velocity guy to begin with, as this breaking ball is bounced out to second. An easy play for Clement. Now Lauer's only thrown 2 fastballs. It's that early in the game, but a 92 and a 91, that is closer to where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think that's where his stuff plays as well. We know that he can use the top part of the zone with his fastball very effectively. He said this year, of course, he's also going to want to be able to pinpoint that fastball down, and the changeup should be a big pitch this afternoon against these righties in the Red Sox lineup.
And here is one of these righties, and a dangerous one, in Wilson Contreras. And a fastball down the middle taken for a strike. Contreras 5 for 13 with a home run in his career against Lauer. Fouled off, 0-2.
And there's looked like his first changeup, and you see that indecisiveness there from Contreras after the first pitch fastball.
There have been so many twists and turns within the Blue Jays rotation from the offseason into spring training, early in the season, and a lot of changes even in the last few weeks. Who's healthy, who's not, who's in, who's out, who's pitching for a spot to stay in, who's trying to get in. Here's a guy who's gotten healthy. One of the best things that has happened to the Blue Jays recently. Trey Savage back, looked very good last night. 5 1/3 scoreless. If you're a manager, if you're a pitching coach, you just want consistency, stability. This guy is doing a job and a half down at the end of the bullpen right now. Louis Varland. He's pitched 3 of the last 4, but I think you and I are both guessing he would be in play today if they had a lead late. Here's a fly ball hit high in the air, deep left field, and over the bullpen into the seats. Contreras with his 7th home run of the season, and it's an early 1-0 lead for the Red Sox.
You just can't miss to hitters like this. One good hitters and two hitters that have had your number in the past. It was a fastball at the top of the zone, but it's left up and out over the plate.
Let's go, Wilson!
Contreras is all over it, and Miles Straw just turned around and watched it. See where the target is. He wants to go out there, but he gets to that pitch easily.
And Contreras giving some information to Cedar Rafaela and Trevor Story on his way back to the Red Sox dugout. Here's one line to left, and that'll be a base hit for Wilyer Abreu. Straw gets it back in quickly to hold him to a single.
Well, Eric Lauer will pitch this way. He'll use the top part of the plate. He'll use the outer part, and that's why I think he was set up out there. But this is a pretty good piece of hitting by Contreras.
Over 400 feet, the club leader in home runs on the season. 1 on, 1 out, and here's Cedar Rafaela, the center fielder. Kind of an unlikely cleanup hitter, but a different looking lineup for the Red Sox with a lefty on the mound. Rafaela last year hit .249, 16 home runs, so he does have a little bit of pop. Swings through it. It's 0-2.
Lauer will use that cutter oftentimes at the top of the zone. You'll see lefties a lot of times ride that cutter inside. He likes to kind of keep it up. Sometimes it'll be away, sometimes it'll come in, but generally up in the zone.
Ahead of Rafaela, 0-2. And he got him. Elevated fastball for out number 2. That's where he would have liked the pitch to Contreras to be, right?
I think that's what they had in mind. Something up there where maybe if he even does make contact, Contreras, a very good hitter, maybe it's a pop-up in the infield, but mission accomplished against Rafaela, but a different hitter indeed.
So 2 down, and here's Trevor Story, the other guy with the very good numbers against Lauer in the Boston lineup today. Story is a .360 hitter against Lauer, 9 for 25, so a lot of at-bats with 3 home runs. But as you can see, this year overall, it is not going very well at all for Trevor Story. Grounded into the Blue Jays dugout, scattering a few guys, and it's 0-2.
It's always interesting when some of the numbers you're rattling off there, when a hitter does well against a pitcher, and some people will say, is that chance? Well, I think there are certain pitchers that hitters just see better. They pick up the ball better. And I think in the case of Story and Contreras, both right-handed batters, probably hit left-handed pitching pretty well anyway, but they just have that rhythm, that tempo against a guy like Lauer, and it matches up perfectly.
Contreras looking at that swing on the iPad. Lauer out in front, 0-2 on Story. This is poked foul right side. Kept that four-seam fastball away from Story. You can probably hear in the background, this being a 3 o'clock game. Looks like a few kids maybe got picked up early at school today by mom or dad.
Good idea.
There's a pretty good kid vibe in the ballpark here today. Fastball up, ball 1.
That could be the show pitch. 2 breaking balls down. You go with the fastball just to change the look a little bit. Go back down to one of those breakers, try to get him to chase.
Curveball down, and Story just barely got a piece of it to stay alive. So that's changing the eye level.
Good idea.
Contreras the home run to give the Red Sox the early lead. Abreu the runner at first, and the battle continues between Lauer and Story. Snap throw to first, runner back in, standing up.
1-2 count, 2 outs. It's not a bad time as a base runner to just take off first move. You're just gambling that the pitcher will deliver the pitch home, and maybe it's a breaking ball down in the zone or in the dirt, and you get an easy stolen base.
Abreu does not have one yet this season. Been caught once, and it's now 2-2 on Story. Each of the last 2 times out, Eric Lauer has gone 5 innings and given up 3 earned runs. Once behind an opener, once as the starter. Both of those came on the road trip. One in Arizona, one in Anaheim. The 2-2. Up and away, and now a full count. And Guerrero looks like trying to get the attention of the dugout to find out where they want him to play. Will he hold the runner? And it looks like the answer is yes.
Right-handed batter, less likely to hit it over there, so he'll try to keep him close just in case Story leans into one.
And a step off by Lauer.
It sounds like what would the chances of that being, but it matters. If Story hits a ball down the left field line, that could be the difference in scoring or not scoring for the base runner on first if he doesn't have a big jump.
Is lifted high in the air to left. Straw going back, settling underneath it, and makes the catch for the 3rd out. The Contreras homer, 1-0 Boston, going bottom of the 1st.
Closed captioning is brought
The leadoff spot, which he has been in now and again, as they have tried to piece it together with all the injuries that they have had. Clement, then Sanchez, and then Guerrero, who has had very good success against Brian Abreu. Kazuma Okamoto swinging the bat well as well. Yohendrick Pinango gets a start at DH, and Andres Jimenez, despite some tightness in his hamstrings, is in there playing short, batting 8th. This is a guy who was an opening day starter a couple of years ago, but he is having about as tough a time as any pitcher in baseball right now.
Brian Abreu is 26 years old. He was signed to a 6-year, $55 million contract before the 2024 season, and last year he was very good, but this year has just been a miserable start. Just 1 out of his 5 starts. That was against St. Louis. Did he complete 5 innings? And last time out, he didn't get out of the 4th. Then he gave up 5 home runs to the Baltimore Orioles.
5 homers, 8 runs, 13 hits in 3 1/3. They're getting the ball in the air more. They're pulling him more. I mean, top to bottom, it has been a struggle for Bayo. And again, the Blue Jays all pretty, certainly those who have been here a couple of years, all pretty familiar with him because he pitches within the division. That'll run up and in, a ball and a strike.
He'll use the sinker a lot, along with the cutter, sweeper, changeup. But he's getting a lot of ground balls, so that'll be the goal for the Blue Jays. Get a pitch to hit and then get something in the air.
Ernie Clement, as good of a start to the season as he has had, is in a little mini 0 for 9 spot right now, and that means he's brought out yet another new bat. We believe that is an Alejandro Kirk model. You know, Kirk's not even here, but you leave your stuff around and he's just going to go get it. There's what Ernie is using today, and it'll take like 1, maybe 2 at bats that Clement's not happy with, and boom, he's using somebody else's bat.
You look at Kirk back and you say that thing's got some hits in it.
Ground ball to short, dropped, and still out at first as Story recovers in time to get Clement.
Well, it looked like that sinker from Bayo. It's a good pitch for him. Gets a lot of ground balls with that pitch, and sure enough, Ernie pounds it into the turf.
No challenge.
See Trevor Story play that ball off to the side. We remember a shortstop by the name of Troy Tulowitzki in a Blue Jays uniform. We used to watch do that regularly.
So Clement retired, and hitting in the 2 spot today is Jesus Sanchez, 265, 4 homers. Bayo starts him with a strike. Sanchez did not start last night, came in as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning and popped up. He went 1 for 3 in Monday night's game. Look out. 95 up and in.
And that's the four-seamer. That's the one that's going to stay a little more true. You see those fingers across the seams. That pitch is used more up in the zone or in. And it was a little bit of both. A little too close for Jesus.
The 1-1. Fouled back, 1-2.
A lot of sinkers, cutters, changeups to left-handed batters for the most part. Mix in a curveball. We saw an occasional four-seamer.
Outside, 2-2. Right now the Red Sox dealing with some injuries in the rotation. Urbeo might not even be in there right now. Sonny Gray is on the IL, and the Red Sox, big news for Boston fans, they put Garrett Crochet on the IL today with shoulder inflammation, so gone for a minimum of 15 days. Down the left side and heading out of play.
We were just talking about Crochet the first two games of this series, thinking that's a guy that's going to straighten things out and someone you can really rely upon, but we were wrong. They will be without him for at least a couple of weeks.
Ranger Suarez gave him a great outing on a Monday night. 2-2 again. Up and in again. Not quite as close, but still Sanchez had to bail in a hurry, and now it's full.
See the setup from the catcher. They're coming inside.
I mean, is it unsettling? You know, not quite Nuke LaLoosh or anything, but when you're up there, when a guy has missed that badly with 2 pitches in your direction, is it a little unsettling as a hitter?
Especially for a right-handed pitcher against a left-handed batter. A lot of these Blue Jays left-handed hitters have been getting pitched up and in, I thought, for the first month of this season. So, yeah, when they're a little erratic, you've got to be heads up.
And a drive to right field. But caught at the wall by Abreu. The two-time Gold Glover making a tremendous catch right at the fence.
Well, this was a little cutter that didn't do a whole lot, and I thought Sanchez got it when he hit it, but he may have gotten it just toward the end of his bat. The rotation on that ball just toward the end, so he didn't quite get it, but I still thought maybe the top of the wall. But Abreu is one of the best out there in right field. He sizes it up. He knows he's got just enough room in front of the wall and then times his jump perfectly.
He is as good as it gets in right field. 2 down. Here's Guerrero. Up there swinging at the first pitch. He had a couple of hits on first pitch fastballs last night, a single and a double. And he went after that 96-mile-an-hour two-seamer. Guerrero second in the major leagues in batting average at .340 behind only Yordan Alvarez. And then as we occasionally see on an 0-1 pitch.
That's crazy.
Vladdy looks like he's taking all the way.
The only thing I can think of, you don't want to be 0-2, but maybe his timing, just rhythm got thrown off and a little bit of a quick pitch. He wasn't expecting him to lift his leg when he did.
Hit hard but foul.
I can't explain some of the things he does in the batter's box because I can't explain some of the things he does in the batter's box because the way he hits the baseball too is like no other. He's certainly got a plan, but he just aborts his plan on occasion.
Bounced up the third baseline, fair ball, and that's going to be an infield hit for Guerrero.
Wow, that was interesting. It looked like Durbin came in front of the bag, and the third base umpire, Brennan Miller, seemed like he was the one that made that call.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the home plate umpire's call.
Right over.
Yeah, it was right on the bag,
Yep.
It looked like.
And right over the edge of the bag. It's a fair ball.
almost looked like his glove touched the bag as he was trying to get to the ball. So a base hit for Guerrero. And here's Kazuma Okamoto, who had 1 for 4 last night, had a 2-run single, biggest hit of the night, as it turns out, in a 3-0 Blue Jays win. Last 10 games, 3 homers and a .973 OPS for Okamoto, who until the last 10 games had been in about as deep of a funk as anybody on the team, but he has really come out of it.
Even that foul ball right there, I love the way he fouled that pitch off because he's not getting out and around it.
And then he takes a fastball for strike 3 call to end the inning. End of 1, and the Red Sox up 1-0.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Well, Eric Lauer understands what's involved when he's part of the starting rotation and when he's pitching out of the bullpen. They're both pretty familiar roles to him, but not without his challenges, particularly when it comes to adapting to a routine. And ever since Max Scherzer landed on the IL, Lauer has followed what he termed a hybrid routine, throwing short bullpens and loosely staying available. He described being in a state of limbo, but after Schneider confirmed his status for today, Lauer was able to go into his night before a start routine. He emphasized the importance of communication and flexibility when it comes to what he should be preparing for. Lauer arrived around 11:30 a.m. this morning for a 3 p.m. ball game, with his pregame routine generally starting 2 hours before. So Dan, a little bit of insight on what's been going on with Eric Lauer, who ended up being today's starting pitcher. Guys?
Hazel, thank you. And again, this is seemingly because Max Scherzer went on the IL. So now Lauer, who was taken out of the rotation, is now at least temporarily back in the rotation. And he bounced back and forth a little bit last year. Was a very important part of the pitching staff last year. Had better results in the bullpen than the starter, but still made some big starts for the Blue Jays as well. Andrew Monasterio leading it off for the Red Sox. And then the next level is, so how long is he in the rotation? And nobody knows. Jose Barrios made a rehab start last night, but it didn't go great. He gave up 5 runs in 4 innings, a couple of homers. It was a cold night. That smoked down to third, and Okamoto's got it. But the velocity was down a couple of miles per hour, and John Schneider said, well, yeah, that could have been part of it. But even Schneider admitted, you know, the shape of the pitches, the velocity could have been better. And according to Schneider, they're going to have a conversation with Barrios maybe later today or tomorrow, and you know, see where he's at and then make a decision as to what is next for Barrios. Does he get another one with Buffalo, or does he come back and join the Blue Jays? And if he comes back, Joe, he's going in the rotation.
Yep. And I don't blame you. We've talked a lot about Eric Lauer all spring and into the season and how much he wants to be a starter. Most people would and want to be that starting pitcher, but he can do himself a big favor by pitching well today and making a little bit of a statement.
You know, you saw Patrick Corbin. Well, first we got a challenge.
This is called a ball. The catch is down.
This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers. Ooh, and it just did clip the top of the zone. A successful challenge for Brandon Valenzuela. So a couple of strikes on Connor Wong, the Boston catcher. You know, we saw that shot of some of the starting pitchers in the dugout, including Patrick Corbin, who at least publicly wasn't on anybody's radar a few weeks ago, and now he's given the Blue Jays, I think, 4 starts and keeping them in games.
Yep.
And with all the injuries they have had, this is driven to right center field, deep but playable for Varsho, 2 down. With all the injuries they've had, again, they've had to change the plan umpteen times already, but long season, and you got to do what you got to do.
Well, and that's what Patrick Corbin has done. He's kept himself in the conversation because now it's Gausman and Cease, and we know when Savage is back, he's here to pitch. So you've got your big 3, and that's great. But Corbin, Lauer, this Barrios thing, this is the back end here. Those are 2 spots for a few guys that we're talking about, with Max Scherzer going to the injured list, and at some point Shane Bieber coming back.
Yeah. That's at least several weeks away, though. It seems he has not gotten into rehab games. Here's a familiar face, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who signed in the offseason with the Red Sox. 102 games over 2 different stints, 2 different seasons with the Blue Jays. Swings through a fastball, and it's 1-1. Yesterday, before the game, spent some time around the cage as both teams were on the field doing stuff at the same time, visiting with a lot of his former teammates. Fouls back a fastball, 1-2.
Those are the pitches you don't want to miss right there. Valenzuela wanted that ball more up and in, and he left that more so right on the plate. And especially when you get down in the order, those are the pitches that these guys will get to.
Curveball grounded just foul up the third baseline. Kiner-Falefa, a utility guy with the Red Sox right now. Some second, some third. Not an everyday player for them, but get in the lineup because a lefty is on the mound for the Blue Jays.
I'm fascinated in today's game. We see so many catchers do what Valenzuela did there, literally both hands pointing to the ground, like, hey, get this curveball down, as opposed to doing it with your hand between your legs so nobody can see it.
Change in the eye level again with the elevated fastball. And this is what Lauer has to do. He's not going to blow people away. Just got to go out there and pitch. Change speeds, move the ball around. Boy, Kiner-Falefa just about, that wasn't quite a 360, but it was about a 270, I think. He spun way around on that.
Might have been a little self-defense, so it didn't hit him in the kneecap. Pitch just continuing to come inside.
Got to protect with 2 strikes. Now he sends one to center. Back goes Varsho again. So some loud contact here this inning, but all 3 find gloves. Bobblehead Day coming your way June 10th. The first 15,000 fans at Rogers Center will receive a Dylan Cease bobblehead. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. The mustache even more impressive in real life than it is on the bobblehead. 1-0 Red Sox, bottom 2. Here's Dalton Varsho hitting in the 5 spot. And Bayo gets out in front of him 0-1 with a curveball. It'll be Varsho, Pinango, and Straw. Line to first and caught by Contreras for the first out.
That may have gotten inside on Varsho just a bit. Continuing to crowd him as well.
And a fairly routine play for Contreras, the converted catcher. Now Yohendrick Pinango, who has been up for just a couple of days. He is 1 for 3 as a big leaguer. Had a base hit in his first game. That coming back on Sunday against the Guardians, and now he lifts a fly ball to right to the warning track, where it is caught by Abreu for the second out.
Just a little bit out front of that changeup. It looked good off of his bat, but we've seen a couple of those now against Bayo, but they're just not quite squaring him up. They thought what I thought initially.
He's had some good swings in the handful of at-bats we've seen.
I talked to him this morning about his first big league hit. I love talking to kids about their first big league hit, and it just big smile came across his face, and talked about how, yes, nice to get that early one, get it out of the way. And it is. I mean, even just for your confidence, you don't want to be chasing that big first hit for 10, 15, 20 at-bats.
And we talk about George Springer coming back. The counter move was Eloy Jimenez getting DFA'd. I mean, they could have done a few different things, I guess. They could have just sent Piñango back down to Buffalo, but they are keeping him. Piñango's got more defensive utility. You can play him as a corner outfielder. Eloy Jimenez really basically a DH, although he did play some left and a tiny bit of first for the Blue Jays in the spring. So Jimenez DFA'd. We'll see what that means for his future. George Springer, again, for those maybe just getting home, just joining us, not in the starting lineup, but is active. Came off the IL today. And you don't do that unless he's capable of pinch hitting later in the game.
Chance we could see him later in this ball game, and I would think starting tomorrow in Minnesota.
John Schneider would love to write his name in at the top of the order. 1-2 on Straw. And a soft liner caught by Kiner Falefa, and it's a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the second.
Welcome back. Well, I caught up with pitching coach Pete Walker, who told me he was pretty darn happy with the way Trey Yesavage held his velocity right through his start. That was the biggest thing compared to some of the minor league rehab outings he had, where Yesavage was a little bit scattered. He thought his split improved in a way that it carried the zone, and you could tell he was just more comfortable as the outing went on. So overall, Dan, the pitching coach, pretty pleased with what he saw in Yesavage's season debut. Guys?
Hazel, thank you, because the first start is the first start, and it's just a different animal, and it wasn't one of those 11-12 strikeout games, but it was a very effective game. Yesavage said he broke some bats, and in his mind those are as meaningful to him as getting a strikeout. However he gets it done, he can get it done, and if you can put him in there as something you can really count on alongside Gausman and Cease. As now Caleb Durbin sends one to right center. Again, more hard contact, but again Varsho runs it down. You know, that's one less thing for John Schneider to worry about if Trey Yesavage is ready to go out there every 5 games.
Yeah, it's funny when we think about what Trey did last year, of course, in the month of October in that postseason, you just expect him to come back out here and be great. But you mentioned it a few times last night. He is still a young and new major leaguer, trying to get his feet settled in here in the 2026 season.
Top of the order, Roman Anthony, who hit a ground ball to second in the first. That's in there, 1-1. Anthony just 21 years of age, but already signed to a long-term deal through 2033. I don't think anybody is too concerned that he's struggling the way that he is this early in the season. Got all kinds of talent. Hits a ground ball down to first. Guerrero can take it himself for the second out. And now that is 7 in a row, sent down by Lauer.
Well, he's certainly using his defense, and that's not a bad thing when you've got a solid defense behind you. Pitch to contact. Do not give away the free passes and make those hitters beat you.
And here's the guy who beat him. Wilson Contreras hit a home run in the first. Contreras' brother William, a catcher with Milwaukee. The Blue Jays have already seen him and them this season. Fouled off, 1-1. The Red Sox playing their 13th game in as many days. They get their first off day in a couple of weeks tomorrow. High fly ball to left. It is deep again. Is there room? There is Miles Straw right up against the fence. Will make the catch. Contreras just left it short. Celebrate your love of baseball and soccer with an Andres Jimenez soccer jersey. Be one of the first 15,000 fans of the ballpark on June 12th, and you will add this jersey to your collection. Buy your tickets now at BlueJays.com/promotions. Jimenez in the lineup. He told Shai Davidi and Hazel May after the game last night, hamstring tightness. But he and the medical staff and the training staff are working hard, monitoring it, making sure they're not pushing him too hard. Remember, he sat out a couple of games recently, but back in there for the second day in a row here today. And he wouldn't be in there if they had any real concern about it. But given the way things are going in the health department for this team, I mean, they just can't lose many more guys and stay afloat. So, you know, maybe they'll have to kind of take him out every few days, give him a day here and there. Obviously, between what he adds defensively and the way he's swinging the bat right now, he's pretty important.
Yeah, had some issues with the legs last season, and then you're playing shortstop as opposed to second base. A little bit different, maybe a little more on your body, as a lot of infielders will tell you. A lot more range at the shortstop position, a lot more moving laterally left to right. It's a longer throw. There's a lot going on the left side of the field.
Brian Bayo on the mound for the Red Sox, out in front 1-2 as Jimenez shoots it foul. Jimenez is 7 for his last 15, so even if he's not feeling 100%, when he's been in there, he has been swinging it well. He went around. James Jean, the home plate umpire, rings him up as we check in with Hazel.
Dan, Jimenez is not quite sure why he's feeling the tightness in his legs. He says it may be the way he's running the bases or playing defense. No real explanation. He's been stretching and staying hydrated. He said there is no explanation, but he's not too worried about it. As you mentioned, the training staff has done a great job getting him ready to play, but they're going to be smart about things, as you saw him taking a couple of games off last time, guys.
Hazel, thank you. Here's Brandon Valenzuela, and he's got himself a base hit.
Well, that has to feel pretty good for Brandon. He has been scuffling at the plate offensively, and with all that he has done defensively, you just feel a little bit more like a complete player when you can throw a couple knocks out there. That's a good swing on a first pitch from Bayo.
That'll snap an 0 for 8 for Valenzuela, and it's a man on with a 1 out for the leadoff hitter today, Ernie Clement.
Ernie might be playing some multiple choice down there.
That's a different bat.
Whose bat does he have now?
Apparently there's a number 3 on the bottom on the knob, so that's a Miles Straw.
You bring up a hockey stick next time.
And I don't know that we're going to see that bat the next time up. Fly ball to shallow right for the second out. He does not care. There is a straw. He does not care if it's longer or shorter, heavier or lighter. He just wants to find one that, quote, has some hits in it. That's honestly how he goes about it.
We've said numerous times over the last few years that Ernie is very interesting, and regardless of the bats, when I asked him how can you have the success that you have in today's game as such an extreme pull hitter, because we know what he's trying to do up there. He's trying to get something out front, and he told me it kind of evolved. It was trial and error. He just continued to try to do different things, and initially he had a bit of a steeper path to the baseball. This going back to when he was at Buffalo. He tried to create a little bit more angle, like an upswing, and he found that happy medium, and it works for him. And that's, so many hitters will tell you that they'll do what works for them. He has found something that he's found success. He'll stick with it. Doesn't mean you're not going to have some rough patches.
And it's an 0 for 11 right now for Clement. And again, he's still hitting over 300 on the season and tied for the major league lead in doubles. But I would think, you know, we've gotten to know Ernie very well over the last couple of years. An 0 for 11 might get on his nerves more than an 0 for 11 might get on other guys' nerves.
And sometimes
he wears it.
It's how you went 0 for 11, right?
Yeah.
Are you coming out of your swing? Are you trying to do some things that you don't normally do?
I think what might bug him about that one is that the pitch that he hit to right field, the fly ball, it got a lot of the plate. It was not a good pitcher's pitch. It was in the middle of the plate.
And you do credit the pitcher because it was a good sinker with movement, but yes, when it's in the middle of the plate.
Sanchez rips one into center for a base hit. Up to second goes Valenzuela.
That's what you want to do when it's in the middle of the plate. Jesus just drilled that ball right back up the middle. That coming after his deep fly ball to right field in his first at-bat.
Mayo just relieved, and that ball didn't get a piece of him. That was 106 off the bat. So it's first and second with 2 outs for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who reached on an infield hit in his first at bat. Vladdy with 2 home runs in his career off Bayo. Among the 13 hits that he has in 31 at bats against him.
Well, you see what Bayo is trying to do to him with those sinkers. He did that in his first at bat, then got him to flail out a sweeper. But Vladdy's got to really try to stay inside this pitch and get it in the air, keep it off the ground.
That'll go Guerrero's way, and it's 2-0. Fights it off softly into right for a base hit. Valenzuela's going to be held. Now the throw goes to the backstop, but everybody's got to get back to their base. Carlos Fablis held Valenzuela, and Jesus Sanchez almost ran himself into a world of trouble between second and third.
It was actually a good job by Sanchez. You have to run with your head up, and you have to keep an eye on the runner in front of you. You can't assume that he is going to get waved home. Vladdy got jammed on this pitch, soft serves it into right. You're probably not challenging the arm of Abreu, but he airmails his catcher. And Sanchez almost caused all kinds of issues rounding that second base bag as it looked like he was continuing on. And good thing for the overthrow.
And you know what? It speaks to the and this is Guerrero maybe playfully saying to Fablis, "What are you doing, man? Send him home." But this speaks to the importance of the pitcher backing up the play. If there's nobody back there, Valenzuela walks home.
Valenzuela said, "I had my wheels going, but it looks easy after there's an overthrow, but there is no way he gets sent there."
So 3 singles to load the bases. You see the numbers for the Blue Jays on the season. Just 3 for 27 with the bases loaded, and 2 of those hits came in the same inning, that huge first inning out in Arizona last week. Here's Okamoto. Bayo doesn't like the baseball. Another big crowd. Every game on this homestand has been in excess of 41,000. If this one isn't there, it's close. The 1-0 to Okamoto. Outside, ball 2. Bayo has not walked anybody today, but coming in had issued 13 walks in 22 innings.
Everything's been away to Okamoto in his 2 at-bats.
2-0 on the way, and a swing and a line drive base hit. Here comes Valenzuela. Here comes Sanchez, and it's a 2-run single for Kaz Okamoto. And he continues to get big hits for the Blue Jays.
A big 2-out, 2-run single for Okamoto, and as I said, away. It's only a second at bat, but you get a feel for what they're doing. Looked like he wanted to sink that ball more down and in on him, but he stays through the ball, drilling it into left center. And again, get the ball off the ground. That's what Bayo wants, for that sinker to go into the turf. Great swing by Okamoto.
RBIs number 14 and 15, cashing in Valenzuela and Sanchez. And it's 2-1 Blue Jays as the inning continues with Dalton Varsho. Down and in. Guerrero now at second, Okamoto at first. And the 1-0. Taken low, and second batter in a row that Bayo has fallen behind 2-0. Now high and all the way to the backstop, off the glove of Wong. The runners advance, and it is 3-0 on Varsho.
This ball just took off on him, but you got to catch this baseball. He's just late getting up there. That's a pass ball.
They have scored at a wild pitch.
Wow. A wild pitch for me is a pitch that a catcher can't handle. A catcher has to handle that, especially in the major leagues.
Let's see what Varsho's thinking. Does he have the green light? Does he get something he likes? He'll take ball 4, and that's going to load him up again. And how about a pretty big spot for a young guy in just his first week in the big leagues, Yohendrick Pinyango, who hit a fly ball to the wall in right field his first time up. Comes up with the bases loaded and 2 outs here. And Andrew Bailey, the pitching coach for the Red Sox, is on the phone. To bring back one of John Schneider's quotes about Yohendrick Pinyango, he goes up to the plate with bad intentions. He is trying to hit something hard.
And he just missed one his first at bat, that changeup down, but same idea. Try to get this ball in the air.
Popped up back of the plate. Wong back for a look, but it's in the seats. Left-hander Danny Coulombe is up in the bullpen. One and one the count on Pinyango. Takes it high. That's pretty good right there. Like, you're young, the bases are loaded, it's your third day, and you could be anxious, but that wasn't an anxious situation there.
It's really good. Very impressive from a young hitter. There's a veteran guy that's been around a long time helping these young hitters out, Edwin Encarnacion.
Slash to left for a base hit. Guerrero is in. Here comes Okamoto out at the plate. But Pinyango drives in a run with a base hit. He's got to get back to his base just in case the Blue Jays decide to challenge it. John Schneider looking back. Did Okamoto get in under the tag? They will not challenge. But how about Yohendrick Pinyango? A base hit, an RBI. And it turns into a 3-run inning for the Blue Jays. End of 3. It's 3-1. So the Blue Jays score 3 runs with 2 outs. Yohendrick Pinyango just picked up his first major league RBI as Guerrero came in on the base hit. Here is Okamoto. Wong looks like he's decoying. And you know what? I think the left foot of Wong kept Okamoto's foot from actually making contact with home plate.
Yeah, he was decoying him a little bit, just standing there. And then when he put the tag down, it looked like Okamoto's foot stayed up and over the plate as he was tagged.
Boy, some clutch hits, some good swings from Okamoto driving in 2, and then Pinango driving in the 3rd run. So it is 3-1 Blue Jays top 4. A lead for Eric Lauer, and he's out in front of Wilyer Abreu 0-2.
They've had a very good approach against Brian Bayo today. When I keep talking about getting the ball in the air, that's what I mean, keeping it off the ground. A good line drive swing by Pinango after Okamoto did it.
The Blue Jays will see righties each of the next 2 nights in Minnesota. Yohendrick Pinango is going to be in the starting lineup in those games. Like, they're short right now, but he has had good at bats. Certainly does not appear to be overwhelmed in any way by what he is seeing in the big leagues. And as they always say, if you hit, you play.
And his at-bats are good. He's not rushing anything, as you mentioned, especially that one good take, but what a good swing he put on that one.
Pinango in Nathan Lucas's spot on the roster, by the way. Remember, Lucas going on the IL with a hamstring injury, and it's probably going to be, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. It sounds like it's going to be more than the minimum 10-day stay, so Pinango may have some runway to turn some heads. Lauer walks Abreu after getting out in front of him 0-2. Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway's new Wannabe Spicy Menu. 3 different heat levels from mild to wild to wicked. How spicy do you want to be? Leadoff man aboard. Not what Lauer wanted to do. Just when his team got him 3 and getting out in front 0-2 on Abreu, but he walks him. Now say down to Rafaela.
I think he tried to maybe think about getting him to chase that slider, but man, when you put a 3 spot up, you take the lead, all the momentum's in your favor. I'm all about going right after that next guy, and I know he's a very good hitter in Abreu, but hate to issue the free one.
Okamoto in even with a bag at 3rd against Rafaela, who lifts a fly ball to very shallow right field. Clement going out, Sanchez coming in to make the catch. 1 down.
Well, this is good sound to baseball from a young player in Valenzuela behind the plate. This pop-up goes to right field, but Eric Lauer hung around the mound. Watch Valenzuela. He follows the play. You never know if you catch that runner at first base lingering off a little too far. Sanchez could fire it there, but good heads-up play by the young catcher.
1 down. Here's Trevor Story. Hit a fly ball to left in his first at-bat. Okamoto was in on Rafaela, but he is back against Story. The Red Sox at 12-18 on the season, a game and a half behind the Blue Jays. Line drive center field. Varsho is there. Back to first goes Abreu, 2 down.
Well, the Red Sox are getting their swings in. There's some hard hit balls here this afternoon, but the defense behind Eric Lauer has been airtight. That one, Varsho didn't have to go very far, but he's able to secure it.
So 2 down. Here's Monasterio. The DH came over in an offseason deal with Milwaukee. Caleb Durbin coming in the same trade. Kyle Harrison, a pitcher among those, going the other way. Monasterio Saturday in Baltimore had 2 doubles and a grand slam. Just mentioned the standings or a couple of teams' records. You and I were talking before the game how crazy the American League is right now. It is, the league is not off to a good start. The National League is having its way with the American League. The A's, who are 1 game over 500, 1 game, have the 3rd best record in the American League. The Yankees are 20-10. Tampa Bay's 18-11. After that, it's a big mishmash. The A's are 15-14.
That's good.
Yes, the Blue Jays are not where they want to be, but a lot of other teams aren't where they want to be. So everybody's kind of mashed up in the middle right now.
And you keep hearing us say it's early, or hear me say it's early, because it is early. And we're almost a month in here now, but remember last year, the April for the Blue Jays was very similar. So no need to panic whatsoever, especially when you compare them to the Red Sox. And talking to some of our Boston friends here, this is kind of their squad.
Right.
You know, Garrett Crochet has gone to the injured list now, of course, but Blue Jays have hitters coming back.
There goes the runner. The throw down by Valenzuela, not in time. Valenzuela has a very strong arm and had thrown out 4 of 8 before that one, but Abreu got a good jump and he steals it, his first of the season.
And that's the situation I was referring to earlier. 2 outs, take your shot, go first move. You got a breaking ball down the dirt. Not much at all that Valenzuela can do with that one. He's been throwing the ball really well.
So runner in scoring position with 2 down, 2-2 the count. Clement's got it. The throw to first in time. That is a run-saving play by Ernie Clement out at second. Getting to it, the jump throw, using the dirt for the hop, and finding his first baseman to save his pitcher and his team a run. How about a peek down on the farm? Let's go out west of Vancouver. The Blue Jays High A affiliate and Arjun Namala, who got off to a slow start this season. This is a first-round pick. Keep in mind, still just 20 years of age, is some kind of hot over the last 9 games. Hit a 437-foot home run last night at the Nat out in Vancouver. There's just something about his swing that's different looking, and there's something different about the contact and the power when he squares one up.
He has got a great combination of power and speed, and we saw that in that swing right there, a very tight turn to get to that baseball. And then you talk about the defense that he plays and his arm, a little bit of a slow start this year in his return to Vancouver, but if he keeps that up, he might not be there very long.
Yeah, I'm sure the organization would love to get him to Double-A at some point this season. Miles Straw goes after the first pitch from Brian Bayo. Hits it sharply to third, but a nice play by Caleb Durbin for the out. Both teams are getting their swings in, and there have been a lot of good defensive plays made on both sides here in this game. Well, that's a shame what Jamie Campbell was. We just saw an update from Jamie here inside the ballpark up on the Jumbotron that Matt Brash has left the game with some sort of a physical issue after throwing just a couple of pitches. This is a guy, Canadian guy, terrific relief pitcher who has had his fair share of injuries already, so hopefully it is not too serious. Andres Jimenez struck out in the third. Pulls it down to first. Contreras has it. Another good defensive play. 2 down.
There is a lot of leather being flashed here at the Rogers Center this afternoon. Both sides now getting in on the act. Contreras taking extra bases away from Jimenez.
So Bayo has only had to throw 3 pitches to get 2 outs. If you are Brandon Valenzuela, is it incumbent upon you to take a pitch here?
No. No, if he gets a pitch, you've got a 2-run lead here. He could leave the ballpark if he throws a sinker right down the middle. Let him go. He was taken.
And Bayo helped him out by not even making it an issue.
His body language showed me that
taking,
he was taking, though. Yeah.
So if it's 1-0, are you still taking, like, until he throws a strike?
I would say to Brandon, no, I want you to do some damage if he comes into the zone. Nothing close.
Valenzuela with a base hit, scored a run in the third. Greg Weissert is up. So again, given how Bayo has struggled this year, interim manager Chad Tracy may have a bit of a quick hook, and they've got an off day tomorrow, so he can afford to be aggressive in his usage with the bullpen. .3-0 and a strike. 3-1. And that is ball 4. A 2-out walk for Valenzuela. And here comes Chad Tracy. Looks like that is going to be all. He is not going to let Bello see the top of the order for the 3rd time. He wants Weissert, one of his key relievers here in the 4th inning. Interesting move.
Well, timing is everything, right? And I don't think you have to look very far. This is a team that's gone very analytical. It's the 3rd time through, and there is no way they are going to let Bello face Clement in the top of this order a 3rd time.
So the pitching change here at the ballpark. Interim manager Chad Tracy removing Brian Bello from the game. And again, Bello has struggled tremendously this year. But you can see that is him clearly saying and wanting to show his manager, he's not hiding it, that he does not agree with this decision for him to come out of the game.
Well, he's had a lot of opportunities to show his manager that he shouldn't come out of games. But if you look at that last start against the Yankees, it was not good. And the only way he is going to get a longer leash is to start pitching better. It has been a tough start to this season for a guy who had a really good year last year.
And if you're Chad Tracy, as Greg Weissert is in the game, again, you're in your first week of managing in the big leagues. Now, he did have a bunch of these guys at AAA. He's been the manager there the last 4 years. But if you're managing in the big leagues, you got to do what you think is best and what you and the team and the numbers suggest you should do. Even if it, oh boy, and it's he's not calming down at all in that dugout right now. I don't think he steamed it himself. I think he steamed he's out of the game.
Yeah.
Clement hits it hard down the left field line, and it's gone. Number 1 on the season for Ernie Clement. Turning around a pitch from Greg Weissert and lining it right on out of here down the left field line. Remember, we told you he had been in an 0 for 11. He had been switching bats, using any bat from any guy that he could find. And he's in a much better mood right now. He has given the Blue Jays a 5-1 lead as a disgruntled Brian Bello looks on from the first base dugout.
Well, that is Ernie in a nutshell, isn't it?
And you know what, Ernie? You were searching near and far, and the answer was right in front of you the whole time.
Probably sitting in your locker the whole time. He fell behind 0-2, but this is what Ernie does right here. He's 0-2, and this is a fastball that's just riding in on him. And again, hand-eye, athletic ability. That's what he keeps talking about as to his style of hitting. What did I talk about earlier? Dead pull. That's when he feels he's at his best, and he hit it out of the park.
The answer was right in his locker the whole time. Ernie Clement using an Ernie Clement bat. That got out of here in a hurry.
It's just reacting to a fastball in. You can see how he pulled the hands in tightly.
Now Sanchez reaches for one and rolls it out to second, and that'll end the inning. But the Blue Jays knock Bello out of the game and add to their lead. Ernie Clement with his first home run of the season. A 2-run shot on a 2-strike pitch, and it's 5-1 Blue Jays at the end of 4. Welcome back to Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. Dan Shulman, Joe Siddall, Hazel May, Ernie Clement just homered. It's 5-1 Blue Jays going top 5. Eric Lauer on the mound now with a 4-run lead, facing the bottom of the Boston lineup, 7-8-9. This is Connor Wong, the catcher. Wong's been with the Red Sox a long time. He came over in the Mookie Betts deal back in 2020.
Been fighting a lot of injuries the last couple of seasons.
Hit a fly ball to center in the second. Lauer gave up a home run to Wilson Contreras in the first, and as we have talked about, there's been a lot of hard contact today, but has not given up a hit since that first inning. Valenzuela asked for the appeal, and yes, that is a swing, says Ryan Blakeney.
Good job by Valenzuela. It looked initially like he wanted the pitch and didn't get the call, so then he secondarily pointed down to ask for the appeal, and that's all you do. Just point down there, say, can you get some help, please? And he got it.
You say please?
Just like that.
You do? You say
I would
please?
say it just like that. Can you get some help, please? And as I'm doing it, as I'm saying that, I'm pointing to the first base umpire. And he'll say, did he go? And yes, he did. Thank you. You got to have a good relationship with the guy behind you.
Never a bad time to have manners.
I
right?
bet James, Gene, and Valenzuela have been chatting all game.
In the air to shallow center. And Varsho is there, one down.
Hit a grand slam with your next project and head to your local Home Hardware. With over 1,000 locations across Canada, Home Hardware is locally owned, genuinely Canadian.
The Blue Jays trying to finish the homestand on a winning note, hoping to win their third consecutive series. Up 5-1. You know, even last year when the Blue Jays really got rolling, John Schneider, even in the midst of long winning streaks, and they had a few, would say it's just about winning series. You keep winning series, everything's going to be fine. There's a ton of baseball still to be played, and again, not a lot of teams in the American League are playing well at all. As Kiner Falefa just flicks one into right field for a base hit. And he's on with one out here in the top of the fifth.
Funny game, a lot of hard hit balls by Red Sox hitters today into the gloves of Blue Jays defenders, but Kiner Falefa just lob wedges this one into right field for a base hit.
Getting a chance to visit with Guerrero over at first. Here's Caleb Durbin, the number 9 hitter. Throw to first, and Kiner Falefa back in. And with the top of the order coming around the bend for the third time, John Schneider's got Braden Fisher throwing.
Could be a possibility that he does not want Lauer to face Contreras again.
One and one on Durbin. Braden Fisher, by the way, has not pitched since Sunday, so he's had a lot of rest. But Louis Varland and Tyler Rogers have each pitched 3 of the last 4 days. Does that mean they're unavailable? We don't know. They know, obviously, Pete Walker, John Schneider, how they're hoping to map it out. Up the middle and just beyond the reach of Clement. That is a base hit for Durbin. Kiner Falefa to second.
This ball got out to the outfield so quickly. Dalton Varsho really charged it. He was thinking of coming up firing to second base, as Ernie just missed that because the runner had to stop in case Ernie grabbed it. Didn't miss by much.
So now Roman Anthony. Lauer stays, got the lefty-lefty matchup here. Anthony has been retired on a couple of ground balls. Contreras is on deck. And this one is going to drop in right for a base hit. Sanchez up with it. Held at third is Kiner Falefa, and the Red Sox have loaded the bases. And it looks like John Schneider is making his way onto the field, and there is the call. He is going to go to the bullpen, and as you said, Joe, he is not going to let Eric Lauer face Wilson Contreras again.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Good effort by Lauer to keep his team in this game. The offense certainly helped, but you got to manage the opposing lineup, and that's exactly what John Schneider is doing right here.
So it'll be Braden Fisher coming into a bit of a situation here. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 5th. (5-1) Blue Jays, but the Red Sox have the bases loaded with 1 out, and John Schneider has brought Braden Fisher into the game.
Very dangerous hitter at the plate in Contreras, and Fisher's got his work cut out for him here. Pitching in his 15th game.
In there with strike one. Contreras homered in the first, flied out in the third. He has never faced Fisher. Line to short. That's one, and that's two. Durbin got too far off the bag. Jimenez the flip to Clement, and that is a big time double play to get the defense off the field and keep this 4-run lead intact. Let's send you to Jamie Campbell. Bottom of the 5th inning here at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays, after turning that double play, still have a 5-1 lead. And here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who has not hit the ball hard either time today, but he's got a couple of hits. And I guess if you're Vladdy, you're saying, you know, there are many times I hit it hard and I don't get hit. So he'll take the infield hit and the flare. He's up to 352, and it's going to go even higher. Reached for it and lines it into center for a base hit.
He is covering a lot of pitches. The breaking pitch away there. He's able to stay on and line it to center. And look who's getting loose. This is how you hit for really high average, though. You cover a lot of pitches by throwing a bunch of base hits out there. And we've seen him do that with a lot of fastballs. One today, that sinker in on his hands that he shot to right field.
Kaz Okamoto takes a strike, and here's why George Springer is putting batting gloves on. Giovanni Moran, a lefty, is up in the pen. You've got Pinango a couple of spots away. So if Chad Tracy makes the move to the lefty, you got to believe John Schneider is going to go to Springer. And what's encouraging maybe about this is it means, even though he would just be pinch hitting and then staying in as the DH, like maybe that means he's well enough to get 2 or 3 at bats and run the bases a little bit, even though he didn't start the game. It's not just a, you know, break glass in case of emergency thing for Springer.
And isn't it nice just to have Springer in the dugout right now with batting gloves on, getting ready to hit, because now the opposing manager has to consider that too. And this is that little chess match between managers.
Okamoto struck out in the first, had a big 2-run single in the third. Takes it high, 2-2. The lead at first by Guerrero. And a breaking ball sweeps back in over the inside corner for strike 3 call.
You can see Okamoto just freezing on this pitch. He gave up on it thinking it was inside and just came back and froze him.
And that is going to be all. Moran is indeed coming into the game with the left-hand hitting Dalton Varsho due up. 5-1 Blue Jays, bottom 5. Third pitcher of the afternoon for the Red Sox, left-handy Giovanni Moran.
Forcing fastballs and cutters to left-handers. That's what Dalton Varsho is going to see a lot of. Just 8 games for Moran this season. He last pitched on Friday against the Orioles. He stranded a couple of runners in the 4th inning, but then allowed a run on 3 hits in his next 2 innings of work. Went 2 2/3 that day.
So George Springer, helmet on, gear on, bat in hand, and we're past the decoy part of the conversation right now. They've already made the pitching change. Pinango is still on deck, but it sure does look like Springer's going to hit this inning.
It would have been interesting if this was Pinango coming up to bat now, because then it's, do you bring in the lefty to face him, because you know that Schneider will counter with Springer. But Varsho's not coming out of this game.
Runner at first, 1 out. And the 0-1 to Varsho. this is during the pitching change. I guess John Schneider, some sort of good luck charm thing that they've got going with David Popkins and George Springer. We don't need to know what's going on. Just if it works, it works.
Whatever works. Yeah. You do you. Those are the little things, though, that when I said in our open today about George, when you're on the injured list, it's hard to be that guy. You try to contribute every way you can, but now you're back in it. It just means so much more, and that's what that energy that he creates.
Hooked foul by Varsho. Lou Iannotti, one of the hitting coaches alongside Miles Straw. Up and in. Springer fractured his toe on April 11th. So 18 days ago in the Blue Jays' 14th game. This is their 30th game, so he missed 15 games with a fractured big left toe. And I asked him a few times about, you know, what do you think and how will it go and what will you feel? And his answer was mostly was, I've never done this before. I don't know. Just gotta kind of feel my way through it day by day.
And you wonder if maybe the actual game would be even better because you're not thinking about as much. You're just letting the adrenaline take over. Go to it.
Varsho gets hit. It was a changeup, I believe, an off-speed pitch, so obviously no intent. But another one was up and in, and right now Moran really having trouble locating.
Moran is a unique lefty in that he throws changeups to left-handed batters, and Dalton saw a few of them.
And everybody is now aware who's coming to the plate. Pinch hitting for Piniango with runners at first and second and 1 out. First pitch swinging, he's got a base hit. Guerrero in to score. Varsho to third. Welcome back, George. Didn't take long.
George Springer means the world to this team. We talked about his season last year. They've had to go to battle without him for a couple of weeks, but how about that first pitch changeup, and he just stays on it enough to get it off the end of the bat and into left field. He may have felt it a bit, but that felt pretty good.
So it is 6-1. Everybody happy that Springer is back. He's at first. Varsho came around to third. Straw pushes a bunt foul. Little safety squeeze attempt. And it's 1-1. It was the left foot, and you can see he's got a little, I don't know, tape. Maybe a little bit of extra padding there just to try to give him a little bit of extra protection. Straw squares again, takes ball 2.
Well, they're charging hard both third and first, so Varsho is going to have to really read this bunt if Dalton or if Straw gets it down. You don't want to just run into an out at the plate if he bunts it right to one of the fielders.
Swinging away, and he lifts a high fly ball to right field. Backing up is Abreu. Varsho will tag and come to the plate and score on a sac fly by Straw to make it 7-1.
Well, after a couple of bunt attempts, Miles gets his fastball down in the zone, and he just tries to stay inside this baseball to get it up in the air. And that's what exactly he did, deep enough to score Varsh.
Everybody chipping in here today. In a game where the Blue Jays trailed 1-0, 2 batters in. They have now scored in each of the last 3 innings to take a 7-1 lead. Andres Jimenez, the batter. Springer, the runner at first, 2 down. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say George isn't going anywhere.
I don't think so. He did his job. The rest is gravy.
Boy, Varsho's worked up a sweat here today.
Been running the bases.
Yeah. Piñango, his first major league RBI. Guerrero 3 for 3. He's hitting .358. Tops in the majors. Okamoto had a big 2-run single in the 3rd. Lots of contributors so far today. Jimenez pops it up. And it'll be Story, the shortstop, to make the catch, but the Blue Jays get 2 more, and they welcome back George Springer, who lined the first pitch that he saw into left center for an RBI single. Everybody is fired up to have Springer back. The Blue Jays now up 7-1. George Springer with a pinch hit RBI single to get in on the act. His first day back on the roster as the Blue Jays try to win their 3rd consecutive series. Braden Fisher back out to begin the top of the 6th. Starts Wilyer Abreu with a fastball for a strike. Abreu has singled and walked. Fisher came on top 5, bases loaded, 1 out, and got a double play on a liner to short, where the runner straight too far off second, and they got 2. And now a good play by Brandon Valenzuela, who never looks like he's rushing when he makes that play. Takes his time and makes a good strong throw.
And that's exactly the point I was thinking right there. The way he just casually, he saw where the ball went, so he knows it's not far away from him, so there's no reason to hurry. You pick the baseball up, you set your feet, find your first baseman, and throw him a strike.
Although Vladdy felt he pulled him a little bit to his right, like, throw it straight, throw it straight, kid.
Vladdy better be careful what he wishes,
yeah.
what he wished for, because Valenzuela can throw it a little harder than that if he wants.
Here's Cedar Rafaela. Rafaela 0 for 2 on a strikeout and a fly ball. Bounces it foul, 1-2. This is a guy, Braden Fisher, as George Springer looks over that RBI single. John Schneider feels very comfortable using in a wide variety of situations. He has really earned his manager's trust.
And a lot of that was done last year. You take it into this season, and I think with his repertoire, with the pitches that he throws, we know he spins the baseball a lot, so that can work against righties and lefties. Mixing in that fastball a little bit more this year.
Like that.
Right on cue.
And he blows him away, 2 down.
Well, Braden told me in spring training that he wants to incorporate that fastball a little bit more, just to be a little less predictable, because the league knows that he spins it, both the curveball and the slider. Use that every once in a while, and they can't just sit on the breakers.
So 2 down. Here's Trevor Story, also 0 for 2.
And it's not like Braden Fisher throws 91 miles per hour. He's got a good fastball.
But it's funny, there are a lot of pitchers who start off with the fastball, put you away with the breaking ball. He's like the opposite.
Yeah.
He'll start off with the breaking balls and then try to surprise you with a fastball because you're sitting on something else.
I like the way he approached Rafaela there. Spin, 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 get him looking soft, and they're tracking a lot of breaking pitches. And then that fastball looks 105.
Okay, so here we've had spin, spin to get to 0-2.
So he could, but I would say with Story, this is a little bit of a different hitter. I think he's a guy that chases a whole lot and struggles with those pitches down. I'll guess he goes back to the spin down. See if I can think along the lines of Valenzuela.
On the appeal, didn't go, but he did try to get him with a slider off the outside corner. So when you hear the word spin, that could mean a slider, a sweeper, a curveball, some sort of breaking ball.
Yeah, a breaking pitch of some sort. And only because that Story fits that profile. He doesn't hit breaking balls real well. He chases a whole lot.
Whoop, got his attention there. That was not spin.
No, and that's great to get his attention. You want to do that because a hitter like Story can't just lean out over the plate looking for that curveball or slider now. Now you keep him honest with that one and come back with it. Breaking ball down and away.
Right center field, and this will split the outfielders and get to the fence on a bounce. And Story into second base with a 2-out double.
That's when you say to your pitcher, good idea, poor execution. Just didn't get that slider out where he wanted it, and it kind of just spun and stayed in the middle of the plate. Turned out to be a pretty good pitch to hit for Story. You want to get this pitch down and away, and it backed up on him.
Left-hander Joe Mantiply now up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Runner at second, 2 down. Andrew Monasterio, the DH, 0 for 2, the batter. And the first pitch from Fisher, fouled back, 0-1. Mantiply is up in case Chad Tracy makes a move and goes to his bench for a left-handed bat. Pinch hitting for somebody, but he hasn't made that yet. And up until this point of the lineup, he really wasn't going to, and he leaves Monasterio in as well. Curveball in there, 0-2. Popped up, shallow right. It'll be Sanchez, and it's a good inning for Braden Fisher. Mid-6, Blue Jays 7, Red Sox 1. Are you a Rogers customer? Watch for Canada's winning inning during the game. When the Blue Jays get a hit, you could win amazing prizes courtesy of Rogers Beyond the Sea. It's pretty good a guy to be up in a winning inning. Ernie Clement has a hit in this game, and it was a 2-run homer his last time up, his first of the season. Brandon Valenzuela didn't have the right bat or something, and Ernie just offered him his, getting a smile out of Valenzuela. And I guess if you're Ernie, if you're stealing everybody else's, you got to offer yours to a guy in need. Now there's the problem. Couldn't get the weight off. Yeah, stuck. Time. You ever have that happen?
Yeah, it can happen. You get swinging the bat pretty hard in the on-deck circle, and then if you get that pine tar that's above your hands and it sneaks up, that big thick weight, it goes right in there and it's like glue. Usually you just get another bat though and pound it down. I'm not sure where he went to find the toolbox, I guess.
Valenzuela batting from the right side against the lefty Moran. A good take there, and it's 2-0. Valenzuela's had a good day at the plate. Singled and scored in the third, walked and scored in the fourth. Lifts one to right center, where Rafaela will make the play. 1 down.
He's a little frustrated. He had a 2-0 pitch that he thought he could handle. The fastball came in on him a little bit. He's got a little bit of a different swing right-handed than left-handed, like a lot of switch hitters do.
Now Clement. Little inside again. It's 2-0. Braden Fisher 5 outs in this game. It's almost the look of somebody who is still in the game, although we don't know that. He's already gone an inning and 2/3, but we'll wait and see. A strike, 3-1. Tommy Nance up in the bullpen. Again, the high leverage guys, specifically Varland and Rogers, have worked a lot recently. Each of those two guys 3 of the last 4 days. The extra runs the Blue Jays have added on may allow John Schneider to rest some of the guys who have been used so often recently. No off day. Get another game tomorrow.
That's why the offense in scoring runs is so important. They had stretches earlier this season when you're not swinging the bats like that, so you're needing to use your high leverage guys all the time. It's just this vicious cycle, but that's what hitting does. It just allows you that freedom and rest the big boys.
Clement pulls a fly ball foul down the line and out of play.
Don't break it. He just found it.
Pitcher catcher conversations endless, right?
Looked like Fisher was just describing one of his deliveries. Having fun about something.
3-2 again. And Clement goes after a pitch up in the zone, maybe even above the zone, as he hits a fly ball to shallow right for the second out, and we send it down to Hazel.
Dan, there were some pretty lean years for Jesus Sanchez playing in Miami, where it was pretty quiet in the stands for many of his ball games. Sanchez appreciates the change of scenery here at Rogers Center. He said it's the other way around. He has to find a way to calm himself down and be less emotional because the Rogers Center fans are sometimes pumping him up a little too much. I imagine a noisy ballpark is preferable for Mr. Sanchez. Guys?
Opposite ends of the spectrum between the Marlins and the Blue Jays, and again today, more than 41,000 people here. All 6 games of the homestand, more than 41,000, and when you add it all up, more than 249,000 people have watched the Blue Jays play on this homestand. Just remarkable. Sanchez lifts a fly ball to right field. Abreu back, but has room on the edge of the track. And that's a 3-up, 3-down inning. End of 6, and it's 7-1 Blue Jays. Fans, you don't want to miss the Retro Domer hat giveaway. June 24th, you can take home a vintage style cap featuring Domer the Turtle, the beloved Sky Dome mascot. Buy your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. 7-1 Blue Jays trying to win the series, and in fact win their 3rd consecutive series. And as this ball game goes to the 7th inning, John Schneider has summoned Tommy Nance into the ball game.
Tommy pitched on Monday night against Boston in that 5-0 loss. Just pitched a scoreless 9th inning. 12 games for Nance this season.
7-8-9 for the Red Sox. This is catcher Connor Wong. Wong 0 for 2 on a couple of fly balls to center field. Upstairs again, 2-0.
Nance not dissimilar from Fisher, except that his fastball is more of the sinker variety than the four seam, but both of them have the curveball and slider that they use a lot.
Challenge coming from Valenzuela.
Oh, Brandon liked that all the way.
This was called a ball. The catch is sound.
He might have been nodding before he caught that pitch.
I think he was nodding because he was nodding to Tommy saying nice job, but then he didn't get the call.
This is a strike. Toronto has 2 challenges remaining.
He's done a nice job back there. He's very confident in what he is doing.
Yeah, 2 for 2 on challenges today. Ground ball to short. Up with it, Jimenez. One down. Mantiply remains up in the bullpen, and guys like Roman Anthony, Wilyer Abreu are coming around soon, top of the order. So John Schneider's got a lefty ready for them, but right now Nance will face a pinch hitter. Marcelo Meyer is going to hit for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Meyer starting each of the first 2 games of the series at second base. And 3 hits in 5 at-bats in those 2 games. And he's got another knock, this one into right center.
Well, Nance got the ground ball he was looking for with that sinker, but it just found a hole to the right of Clement and into center field.
So now Nance will face Caleb Durbin, the number 9 hitter in the Red Sox lineup, who's 1 for 2. And this is Nance's 3rd batter. So if John Schneider wanted the lefty Mantiply with Roman Anthony on deck, he can go to him. Bounce back to the mound. Nance has it. Boy, and he had a whole thought process going on there about which way he was going to go, and especially given the score, he made the right play and got the sure out.
He did. If he did it right away, he could have gone to second base, but because of that hesitation, he made the right decision, understanding you're up a bunch of runs here, just get you out of first base, because at this point you're counting outs.
And John Schneider does indeed want the lefty Mantiply. So Nance gives up 1 hit, gets 2 outs. And they will turn it over to Mantiply to face the left-hand hitting Roman Anthony here in the top of the 7th. Well, this team more than most, it feels like if there's a little bit of downtime, I mean, they get bored quickly. They're up to no good quickly. So the walkie-talkie's intended, I guess, for Louis Varland, but Miles Straw has to get in on the conversation, because why wouldn't he?
Maybe Miles is going to get somebody up. Start calling the shots out there.
I think Miles would love that. If there's something going on, Miles Straw's usually in the middle of it.
But sneakily, it was Louis with the walkie-talkie.
Yeah. Here's Joe Mantiply to face Roman Anthony. Mantiply struck Anthony out on Monday. Anthony 1 for 3 in this one.
Mantiply's been so tough on left-handers with that sinker curveball combination.
And he's out in front 0-2. Garrett Crochet placed on the IL today by the Red Sox. Shoulder inflammation. About the last thing this team wanted. Even though he hasn't been himself this year, he's still Garrett Crochet, but maybe now we know why he hasn't been himself. An underlying physical issue. Got him. And there's that nasty curveball against Anthony again. Strikes him out for the 2nd time in the series. You talk about a big breaker. Joe Mantiply's got that working, and it's still 7-1 Blue Jays. Game 5's coming your way. It'll be the Habs and the Lightning, 6:30 Eastern on Sportsnet. Then how about the Raptors? Did what they had to do at home, taking it back to Cleveland, trying to take a lead in that series. And then later on tonight, back to the ice, Vegas and Utah. All of these series are tied at 2 games apiece. We know what you're going to be watching tonight. It is quiet down in Tampa right now, but it certainly won't be in a few hours. The Canadians and the Lightning all tied up at 2 games apiece, and if I'm not mistaken, I think all 4 games have been 1-goal games, 3 of them in overtime. So
that's the calm before the storm in that arena.
Myers stays in the game at second base after pinch hitting for Kiner-Falefa. And here's Guerrero, 3 for 3. Just high. And it's ball one. 3 singles for Guerrero, 2 runs scored, and a major league leading .358 batting average. Saw a crazy number about Guerrero, and this is before the game today. What he's hitting in Blue Jay wins, what he's hitting in Blue Jay losses. Now, for the most part, just about everybody hits better in wins because one of the reasons your team won is your guys are hitting better in those games. But coming into the game today, Vladdy hitting .542 in Blue Jay wins and .172 in Blue Jay losses.
Is he important?
He's important. That's you nailed it. That's the moral of the story. He's important.
I get this stuff.
You know, you might see a lot of hitters hitting, 320 and 220 or something, but .542 and .172, and he's 3 for 3 in this one. Full count. Okamoto next, then Varsho.
Almost feel like he can sit on the changeup from Moran because he throws a number of them, and if it is the fastball, he can still get to it.
Down the right field line, foul. So that was the fastball, just a little in on him, right?
Which tells me he's probably sitting soft, knowing I can still get to the fastball and maybe flip a base hit out there.
But you might change your game plan pitch to pitch, right?
Oh, he changes it all the time. Remember yesterday when we saw first pitch fastball, he jumped all over from Peyton Tolley. He doesn't do that very often.
Outside, ball 4. A leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 7th, and here's Okamoto. Had a 2-run single in the 3rd. Has also struck out twice. Goes after the first pitch and skies one to shallow right for Abreu. And that's the first out. Danny Coulombe is up for the 2nd time in that Boston bullpen. Signed as a free agent in the offseason. Andrew Bailey, the pitching coach, interim manager Chad Tracy. Tracy's going to have a whole other level of new when the Red Sox get home. He took over on the road as Varsho lines one to center. Rafaela back for the 2nd out. Red Sox baseball is about as much of a fishbowl in any city, I think, as any team. And we were talking, it's kind of like the Maple Leafs here in Toronto. Like, it just means so much to so many people and so many media, and it can be a pressure cooker of an environment. And these are not the best of times for the Red Sox.
Yeah, Tracy's had a busy few days, but it's about to get busier when they head back to Fenway.
Here's George Springer for the 2nd time. Pinch hit for Yohendrick Pinyango in the 5th. Saw one pitch, lined it into left center for an RBI single. Swings through it, 1-1. There's the extra padding. So you know what, the Velcro we saw was to attach that. Once he got to first base, he took that off. That is what he is wearing to provide a little bit of extra protection for that big toe. Pops this one up to shallow left, and Anthony in to make the catch, and that is the inning. End of 7, and it is 7-1 Blue Jays. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update with Jamie and Caleb. Folks, make this Mother's Day one to remember at the ballpark. Treat mom to a Sunday afternoon of baseball and memorable moments. The first pitch is 1:37 p.m. This is May 10th with the Angels in town. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/tickets. 7-1 Blue Jays, top 8. And that ball is lined hard into center. Wilson Contreras with a base hit off Joe Mantiply. Second hit of the game for Contreras. He homered in the first. Spencer Miles is up. Mantiply is going to stay to face the left-hand hitting Wilyer Abreu, but then looks like that could be it. Miles ready to go.
Boy, what a difference. Hey, you have him in there to get through Contreras, hopefully to get to Abreu, and sure enough, Contreras just a shot right up the middle.
Curveball for a strike. Inside corner with that curve, and it's 0-2. Abreu wouldn't chase. He's a good player, good offensive player, very good defensive player.
Very good. Yeah, he gives you a tough at bat. Been really good in right field. Couple of Gold Gloves the last couple of years. Saw him make a nice play today.
George Springer is back. He is 1 for 2. Has driven in a run. So you Savage back last night. Springer back today. Next up conceivably would be either Jose Barrios or Addison Barger, I guess, depending on how their situations develop in the coming days. But what a good return for you Savage last night. 5 1/3 scoreless.
Doesn't that return by Savage just it's settling, and it's settling because you've got Gausman and Cease at the top of your rotation. You get Trey in there, and hopefully he can be Trey Savage again. And now you've got 3 guys. Now the back 2 spots you're trying to navigate, but it's just that extra piece to the puzzle. When you can have those top 3 going, you're feeling pretty darn good 3 out of those 5 days.
In the air, left center field, dropping and down for a base hit. A little looper to the opposite field off the bat of Abreu, when the Red Sox have put the first 2 men on here in the 8th. And here comes John Schneider. He wants Spencer Miles. So Mantiply struck out Anthony to end the 7th. A couple of base hits here in the 8th. And it'll be the hard-throwing Spencer Miles to try to make sure the Red Sox can't climb back into this one. Miles into the game, about to make his 9th appearance of the season.
Pitched a couple of innings against Cleveland on Friday, allowing 1 run. Also had a couple of strikeouts, gave up a couple of hits, but overall very good start to this young man's career.
2 on, nobody out. The batter is Rafaela. First pitch swinging, and a fly ball for Varsho. He'll make the catch. Contreras not going anywhere. 1 down.
Get game-changing internet and Canada's most reliable internet. Rogers Xfinity. We got you.
So Miles gets 1 out on 1 pitch. You mentioned very solid coming into the game today. 13 2/3 innings, 13 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, 12 strikeouts. Just good solid numbers for a guy just getting his feet wet at the big league level. Here's Trevor Story. And he's got some zip on that fastball. That was 98.
Yeah, both the 4-seam fastball and the sinker. He'll use both of them. Curveball and slider. 2 different fastballs, 2 different breaking balls.
Two 2-0. 4 days off, so got a little extra bit in the tank, it looks like right now. Goes to a 2-0 breaking ball against foul off.
Not a bad call there, though, because when you miss 2 fastballs up in the zone, he's not quite finishing the pitch. How do you get him to finish the pitch? By throwing a breaking pitch. You really got to get that extension out front. So that pitch right there might get him back into that delivery and release point that you want, regardless of the pitch you come with next.
Missed high. 3-1. Garrett Whitlock is up in the Red Sox pen. He is one of their dudes, one of their high leverage guys, but the Red Sox haven't been winning a whole lot lately, so he hasn't been pitching a whole lot. Valenzuela to the mound.
It's interesting. I wonder what Spencer wanted to throw. I wonder what Valenzuela was suggesting, but this is a clear situation. Maybe Valenzuela saying, look, it's 7-1 here, a couple guys on. You said he's feeling pretty strong because he hadn't pitched in a while, and that's when you really almost have to force him down in the zone, really remind him to finish that delivery, almost set your target even lower if you have to set his sights down to get that ball in the bottom of the zone.
Two on with 1 out here in the 8th inning. And a 3-1 count on Trevor Story. In there, swung on and missed. 3-2. He got that sinker in the zone. Story went after it. It's full. Jaron Duran out on deck to pinch hit for Andrew Monasterio. Story using his timeout. Miles didn't step off, didn't move a muscle, waiting for Story to get back in there.
He's ready.
Missed outside, and that walk will load the bases. So now it'll be Duran.
And I think the message here from Pete Walker is just get back to the middle of the plate, pound the zone. With a 6-run lead, you're just asking for more and more trouble by issuing the free pass. Make those hitters beat you.
Goal number 1 for John Schneider is win the game. Goal number 2 is somehow if Miles could actually finish this, and for him not to have to use Hoffman, Rogers, Varland, or Fluharty. But at least right now, Fluharty is getting up. Rogers just chilling.
Hoping not to need his services today. Don't think we'll see his services today.
Boy, has he been something.
Unbelievable. I mean, he came as advertised. This is a really good big league reliever. But he's had an excellent month of April.
This is a big at bat. Jaron Duran can make this one a lot closer. It is 7-1, but the bases are loaded with 1 out. Duran off to a tough start, as you saw, hitting just 172. That just misses for ball 1.
Every pitcher will have a cue, a little reminder to help them. I'm sure Pete went out there with that cue for Miles to get him back in the zone.
At the top of the zone, 1-1. Tough times for Duran. A couple of years ago, one of the most productive players in the game. In there, 1-2. Mantiply began the inning. Miles took over, got a fly ball out, then walked to batter to load him up. One-two. Got him. Blows a high fastball by him for the second out.
After a couple breaking balls, they elevated, and that's the four-seam fastball, and a very indecisive attempt there by Duran.
Way late.
Way late. That's what these weapons can do, but the key is to get ahead.
2 down, and here's Connor Wong. I would have guessed maybe Narvaez, their #1 catcher, got some power, comes off the bench here, or
Yoshida's still
throw
on the
Yoshida
bench.
out there.
I was thinking it too.
Yep.
It's all those lefties.
Now, if you get Yoshida, then you go to Fluharty. But Wong is the choice. High chopper charging. Okamoto makes the play. And the Red Sox will leave the bases loaded here in the 8th inning. Miles gets some big outs. Throughout the 50 seasons of this franchise, and now is your chance to have 5 of the most legendary home runs all on one t-shirt. May 11th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays legendary home runs t-shirt presented by Ryobi. Learn more at bluejays.com/tickets. There's a guy who's on that t-shirt because he hit one of those legendary home runs. That was to win a wild card game over the Baltimore Orioles right here in this ballpark in 2016. Boy, did he have some productive years. He's around a lot.
A lot of fun to watch,
Yeah.
Edwin.
A popular guy in his time here. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Blue Jays still lead 7-1, and Garrett Whitlock will get some work in for the Red Sox.
10 games for Whitlock this season. He allowed a run on a couple of hits with a strikeout in the 8th inning Sunday at Baltimore, but overall pretty good. 5 walks and 13 strikeouts in his 10 innings, and clearly just getting some work in here this afternoon.
First batter he'll face is Miles Straw. Straw's 0 for 2 and also had a sac fly back in the 5th.
Sinker, slider, and changeup from Whitlock. You're around 94, 95 with that two-seamer.
And kind of a bit of a tricky, sneaky hand behind the back. I would think as a hitter, you're picking up the ball kind of late with him. So. David Popkins has to like the quality of the at-bats here today. Blue Jays had their first what they call state of the squad meeting today. They usually have them every 2 weeks, but waited a little bit longer to kind of assess what they have, and it's members of the front office, it's the coaching staff, it's the manager, obviously, John Schneider, and it's some of the behind the scenes people on the staff side, just talking about the things that they're doing well, the things they need to do better. And it's not as simple, John Schneider says, as, hey, have better at bats. They're trying to assess the situation. Why is the team chasing much more this year, which they are, swinging at pitches outside of the strike zone? Is it the fact that different personnel, right? And John Schneider even brought up, well, Nathan Lucas had vertigo and was kind of swinging at everything for a while until he felt better. Is that part of it? Kaz Okamoto just, kind of getting acclimated. And it's all aspects of the game, but apparently it's like 20-25 people in the room, in a room at the same time. They do it every 2 weeks, and it's going over every aspect of the game. The players are not in the meeting. They're going over every aspect of the game and talking about, okay, where are they in ABC and how do they make ABC better? And to a man, with the people we spoke to today, they started it last year, and apparently they're very productive and very helpful.
It's a nice way to address things before things get out of hand, and I'm sure as a staff, including the front office, they can have lots of different ideas and input, and that's always a good thing, because what one person might see, maybe another person doesn't. And I'm sure that information gets back to the hitters. But I think we saw an offense similar to this last April, and then they really turned a corner when that calendar turned over. So I hope we see more of that as they get the big guys back. Springer back today.
And again, it's defense, it's base running, it's pitching, it's every aspect of the game. Brandon Valenzuela, the batter, got a good day. 1 for 2 with a walk. He has scored 2 runs, and he's 2 for 2 on challenges. And you like, and we've talked about this before, you just kind of like his energy back there, the way he commands the game, especially for somebody as inexperienced as he is.
Energy is a good word. It's the presence, it's the confidence, it's the energy, it's the involvement in the game with the umpire, checking on appeals, coming out and handling yourself well on a swinging bunt. All of those things, he's acting and looking like a player that's been around for 5 or 6 years. Still learning a lot on the fly, I'm sure.
But a confident person,
yep.
You can see it. You can talk to him, and in 30 seconds you can see he is a confident young guy.
It's a big job, and I think what he did in spring training was a great head start getting to know all of these pitchers.
He goes around on the appeal, so it's 3-2. Yohendrick Pinango, you saw him there with Jesus Sanchez, picked up his first big league RBI today. This is well hit. It's going a long way, and it's not coming back. Second big league home run for Brandon Valenzuela.
Let's hope that tops off a very nice afternoon for Valenzuela, both behind the plate and at the plate. I think that smile says it all.
Man, when he gets them, they go. He's got power.
It was a hanging slider. It stayed up and it came into the inner part of the plate. Oftentimes hitters will look, and I'll do the same. I look at the center fielder, and Rafael is just watching it go. He's got a little more work to do behind the plate, but there's nothing better for a catcher than catching a winner first and foremost, handling your pitchers, throwing a knocker, a bomb is nice too.
Clement with a ground ball down to third to end the inning, but the Blue Jays add on a run on the second home run of Brandon Valenzuela's major league career. What a day he has had, and it's on to the ninth. Well, we are just 2 weeks away from the next 50-50 mega jackpot draw from Jays Care. If you're in Alberta, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or Ontario, visit bluejays.com/5050 to get your tickets now. Somebody is going to become a millionaire, and in the next 2 weeks, that jackpot will continue to climb. You know that. 8-1 Blue Jays going to the top of the ninth. The hit's almost even, 10-9 for the Blue Jays. But a home run by Clement, a home run by Valenzuela, stringing some hits together. Red Sox have led 9 men on already, including the bases loaded in the 8th. They lost a runner on a line out into a double play back in the 5th when this game was much closer. Spencer Miles back on the mound to work the 9th, and he gets a ground ball off the bat of Marcelo Meyer for out number 1. A win would mean 3 consecutive series wins and 7 wins in their last 10 games. You can't rush it, you can't force it, but there's a ton of baseball still to come. They're starting to get healthier. They're starting to play better.
Baby steps.
Yep.
Baby steps. Got to crawl before you walk, walk before you run. Hopefully that's the path that they're headed toward.
4 in Minneapolis, 4 against the Twins. And then 3 down in Florida against the Rays. That's the road trip. The Twins came here and took 2 out of 3 a couple of weeks ago. Swung the bats well,
yeah,
but
they did.
Things are not going as well recently for Minnesota. They have lost 11 of their last 13.
Pitching has certainly been an issue for the Twins.
He gets him. A fastball up that Durbin goes after. 2 down. And these may not seem like the biggest outs in this game given the lead, but this is big. This allows John Schneider, given what Miles is doing, to not have to use Hoffman, Rogers, or Varlin. Fluharty's up just in case. And this means that guys are fresher heading into that series tomorrow night. Roman Anthony, the batter. Kevin Gausman will get the start tomorrow night in the opening game of the series. It'll be Gausman, Corbin, Cease, and Yasavage. The Red Sox on the cusp of losing 2 out of 3 and heading home. Trying to see if the managerial change can spark them. They need a spark. They did beat Baltimore Sunday, and they did beat the Blue Jays here last night, but you can see they've got some things to figure out. And again, Garrett Crochet just went on the IL.
Well, especially when you're making wholesale changes the way they did, you know that there are issues. It's going to take Chad Tracy some time to get things in order and get things the way you like. Can't imagine coming in the end of April as a new manager with a bunch of new coaches. Like, that's really upsetting the apple cart early in the season.
Challenge from Valenzuela.
Pitch is called a ball, Toronto down.
Stay hot, Brandon.
He's already 2 for 2.
Have a day, Brandon.
He's 3 for 3.
I think it's a strike. Toronto has 2
I
counters remaining.
mean, he's having a day every which way you can have a day.
Everything he touches is turning to gold.
A home run, a single, a walk, 3 runs scored, 3 for 3 on challenges. And in front of a crowd of better than 41,000. The Blue Jays 1 strike away as now Miles has that pitch fouled off. Nothing wrong with a 4-2 homestand, especially when you're still dealing with a number of injuries that they are dealing with. But getting Yasavage back, getting Springer back, 2 very good signs. And that is the ball game. Is the series as Miles finishes it off. Big smile for Brandon Valenzuela, and why not? He homered, Clement homered, and the Blue Jays win the series 2-1 and have now won 3 consecutive series.
Well, a good day had by all, and now the Blue Jays head out on the road. Trey Yasavage is back with this team. George Springer is back with this team, and more to come. Look forward to a week on the road for these guys to keep it rolling.
They are now back within 2 games of 500. They've won 7 of their last 10. They beat the Red Sox 8-1. Time now for Blue Jays Central once again. Jamie and Caleb.